Well, we find ourselves again in the midst of another Bible study, at the beginning of one at least. First Chronicles chapter 26 is the chapter of the day, and you can get a free PDF on our website if you want to, the same one that you're seeing up on the screen. Let's talk about when these events happened. We are getting towards the end of King David's life, and we've been talking about his reign for most of First Chronicles. It spanned 40 years from approximately 1055 to 1015 BC. This chapter is kind of interesting. We're going to talk about more divisions amongst the Levites and the priests and some other groups that worked at the temple. So our key characters for this chapter are the temple gatekeepers, the temple treasurers, and some of the civil officers in Israel. As far as our map goes, we are still in Jerusalem. Solomon and David were planning to build a temple there in Jerusalem, and the priests, the Levites, the musicians, the gatekeepers, the treasurers, all those guys we've been talking about the last couple of chapters, they were going to work in that temple, so they would travel to Jerusalem to work there. That's the end of page number 1. We're now on to page number 2, our outline section. The first section of our 3, verses 1 through 19, temple gatekeepers are chosen. The Lord's temple in Jerusalem was going to be a very holy, very special place, so gatekeepers were needed at the entrances. The gatekeepers were chosen from the Levites. They were chosen from the families of 4 guys: Shelemiah, Obed-Edom, Hosea, and Shuppim. Each of these guys cast lots to determine their duties. There's been a lot of lot casting last couple chapters. Shelemiah was assigned the gates on the east side of the temple. Zechariah, who was Shelemiah's son, was assigned the north side. Obed-Edom was assigned the temple's south side and the gatehouse. And then finally, Shuppim and Hosea were in charge of the west. Now let's talk about the temple treasurers. This is verses 20 through 28. It records the names of the individuals who were put in charge of the treasuries at the temple. They managed the money and all of the dedicated gifts that were given to the Lord. And a lot of that money actually came from David's wars against foreign nations. And it's from that we're going to take our application at the end of the study. Now finally, verses 29 through 32, civil officers. So the final portion of the chapter lists officers and judges who were selected to help govern Israel. And the number of them is given by which side of the Jordan River they worked on. 1,700 officers were assigned to the west side of the Jordan River, and then 2,700 officers, 1,000 more, were assigned to the east side of the Jordan River, which is kind of curious to me. You would think there would be more on the west side because there's more tribes over there, but that wasn't the case. Okay, so that's chapter 26. Pretty straightforward. I think we were pretty quick today. Let's go down to our application section. Your life lived in faithfulness to God is planting seeds, whether you know it or not, which will one day bear fruit and play a part in God's work. God didn't let David build the temple, and he never got to see the temple in all of its glory. But it was David's wars, it was the work that he had done that enriched Israel to the point that building such a marvelous structure was even possible. Our lives are short, and we don't always get to live long enough to see the outcomes we hope to see. But know this, the impact of a godly life doesn't end when a godly person dies. The seeds they planted are still in the ground, waiting for the Creator to bring them to life when the time is right. So the application is keep working, keep planting seeds, even if you suspect that you're not going to be around to see those seeds grow. God doesn't just have work to accomplish in your generation, He has work to accomplish in future generations if He keeps the world around long enough. And He loves to accomplish that future work through the seeds of His past sowers.